Today's video, the rear shocks are back from RideTech, and I go over what grease I prefer to use on certain items rather than anti-seize. Alright, the rear shocks are back from RideTech. They did it really quick, just like the front ones. I sent them in and got them back all in the same week. And they basically just sent me new shocks with all new bushings and everything. I'll go over this in a minute, but first I'm going to go over something else. I'm going to go over why I prefer this grease over anti-seize on certain items. And this grease here that I use, and it could be any good waterproof synthetic grease, whichever brand you want to use. I prefer the green grease. I got this at Advance Auto. You can get it at AutoZone, and I'm sure all the other parts stores that should carry it too. This is a multi-purpose synthetic polymer grease. Been industry proven for over 30 years. Outlasts regular grease up to 8 times. Seals, protects, ideal for wet environments. Fertilizer resistance, works in extreme heat. Leak-proof cartridge, compatible with other greases, boat trailer wheel bearings, and it can be used for saltwater, in saltwater environments, a boat. It's not just waterproof, it's saltwater too. It says it's somewhere on here. I've seen it before, but it's on here. And I prefer this grease for, say, the bolts that are going to hold this shock in instead of putting anti-seize on them. And the reason I prefer a grease like this is, especially in the Rust Belt where they spray salt spray all over the road in the winters. I mean, if you only use your car in the summer, like a lot of people own Corvettes, they only take their car out in the summer. In the winter, they put it in storage and hibernation. I don't. In fact, not too long ago, I came back from a 3,000-mile round trip to Florida, and it was just after a storm. This car was covered in salt spray. All over it, and especially underneath. This stuff, the anti-seize will wash off. I still use anti-seize on a lot of different things, like you got this, the aluminum, and you got the copper, and I use the appropriate ones. Like the copper I'll use on like O2 sensors and stuff like that, anything with high temperature, where the aluminum I'll use on some other things. Like some people like to use this on their spark plug threads and stuff like that. There's still a lot of good uses for it, but when it comes to bolts under the car, that's going to be subject to salt spray. The salt spray will wash that stuff off. It acts just like salt. They actually use salt to make acid, and yeah, even though it's not as strong as acid, the salt spray, it's pretty damn close. Especially around here, this is actually cold country, so the water and spray around here is probably even more acidic because of the low pH of the water in this area. Like my well has a low pH because it's cold. It's a well that's, basically in cold country. It's coal under the ground here somewhere. So that's what I use. I also use this on bushings. And some manufacturers who make the polyurethane bushings actually recommend a synthetic grease. That or that silicone grease that they usually supply with it. I prefer the green grease, the synthetic waterproof grease. That seems to hold up a lot better. And I'll try and post a link to it, but when I switched from polyurethane bushings to the Delrum bushings, those bushings were greased with the synthetic grease, and they had about 75,000 miles on them. They were still like new. The Global West Delrum bushings that I put in this, and like I said, I'll leave links somewhere at the end of this video. Those also recommend a synthetic grease, waterproof grease. The waterproof part is really important if you're going to be especially driving out in the rain or where there's salt spray. Now we had rain yesterday, mild rain, which helps wash the salt spray off, but it's still near freezing, so they were probably out there salting that salt spray down in the rain to keep the roads from freezing up in the morning. So that's something to consider. Now, one other thing I did was I decided to weigh the original Bilstein shocks. And the rear shock comes in, I think it came in just around 3 pounds. The rear Bilstein, these are original factory ones. Yeah, just over 3 pounds, 3.05 something. In the front, Bilstein is even heavier, 3.8 pounds. The RideTech shock, without this bracket, this is the bracket that comes off the car, I'll go over that in a minute, weighs just under 2 pounds. It's like 1.8 something pounds. And I didn't weigh the front, but they're probably just about the same as the rear. So they are lighter. Probably save you about, save you about a pound each shot. So it's going to save me like maybe 4 to 5 pounds off the vehicle. And the rear ones, unlike the Bilsteins and most other shocks, are inverted. Now, someone mentioned that these don't come with dust covers. That being said, when I took those shocks off, even though they're missing gas, only one shock had a bad seal, and it wasn't due to damage to the shaft. There was no visible damage on the shaft. It probably leaks out this end, I guess, or through this knob, down the shaft and through the knob, or something like that. I'm not really sure. If anyone knows, let me know. But either way, these have a 1,001 mile warranty, and other than me shipping them back to RideTech, they pay for the shipping back, and gave me, basically I got 4 new shock absorbers off them. That's part of their warranty. These are expensive. That's what you get when you pay. These are single click adjustable. I already know what settings I want, so I already set these before I put them in the car. All the shocks are on except this one. I figured I'd leave this one for last and go over a few things. On the C4 Corvettes, I think the earlier years, someone make a comment down in the section, but they don't, like the rear has this type of mount up top, a single bolt mount with the bushings. In the earlier years, I believe, used this style bushing on both ends. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. And the rears come with this rubber dust guard. Let me see if I can get this off. I had it off a few minutes ago. Now it don't want to come off. Oh, there it goes. And there it is. That's the Bilstein. You can see where this shaft is actually rusty. Keep in mind, this no, actually the shaft ain't rusty. Yeah, it is rusty on the top. And if you look, I don't know if you can tell in this video, but if you look, this shaft is a lot wider on the RideTechs. Most aftermarket shocks are. One big difference on the front that is important, and this applies to old shocks that I have tried, C4 shocks that I've tried on the C4, is the front shocks. See, the factory front end doesn't come with bump stops. The rear does. So what they did was they incorporated the bump stop right into the shock, outside of the shock, under the dust cover. Now, no aftermarket shock I know of comes with this bump stop. I actually thought about putting this on the front ones, and maybe I might still do that. I don't know. You let me know your opinion down there in the comment section if I should do that. I don't know. That's a really good question. Should you put bump stops on shocks that don't have them? Someone once told me that they're internal on the front shocks, aftermarket shocks. I doubt that's true. That being said, I've had also several different sets of shocks on this car throughout the years. I had Monroe's, I had Gabriel's, and I never had any problem as far as the suspension, as far as the bump stop thing. So for now, I'll leave it off. Like I said, let me know down in the comment section what you think. Should there be a bump stop on there? So put that back out of the way. Let me move this camera around, and I'll go over some tips for mounting a shock on a C4 Corvette and some tips that apply not just to the C4 Corvette, but pretty much any car. So let's get under there and we'll see. Okay, here we are under the car, and hopefully you can see this good. One thing, I don't know if you can see it in here, but I have a jack, a floor jack, underneath the rear suspension to jack it up. Because you're going to need to jack it up when you mount the shocks. Yeah, I know the rotor's all rusty. I did give the car a good bath. I'm not worried about that. It's a slight surface rust that I can wipe off with my fingers, and that'll come off first time I apply the brakes. This applies pretty much to any car, even on front ends. A lot of cars you'll have to jack the rear axle up. Doesn't matter if it's independent like the C4 Corvette or a solid axle. A lot of times you're going to have to jack them up in order to get them to mount. In order to mount to come up to the suspension. On the C4 Corvette, let me take this nut off here. You're going to want to this part here, this plate bolts to the frame rail right here, and this part goes up into the frame rail. Also, make sure to use either anti-seize or like that marine grease like I used on the threads that hold this on, and grease up the bushings before you put it in. Now, if you have adjustable shocks, like these are adjustable at the bottom, I always like to point that forward this way I can just reach into the car and reach it with my hand and turn that knob if I want to make adjustments. I always put it on, slide on the lower mount first. I'll then take the nut, everything's already pre-greased, put that on hand tight just to get it out so it doesn't slide off. And I do the same with the fronts. I do the bottom mount first, and then I'll jack it up. Okay, and you can see here where I kind of messed up. So I gotta compress the shock a little. There we go. And then jack it up. I just get it up there so it's a little loose. And get the bolts started. Now the original bolts actually have a point on them, so it makes it a little easier to get them started. Now, when we're removing these bolts, if these shocks have never been off this car and it's 30, 40 years old, you're probably going to need some type of, it'll probably be corroded, and you'll probably end up having to hit them with PB Blaster and some heat to get them off. Keep that in mind. Use your favorite wrench to put it on. I prefer my electric ratchet wrench. Now, I'm making this look easy, but like I said, if you're taking off the old shocks and they've been on there 40 years and they've been exposed to like winter weather or rain, they're probably going to be corroded, and it's not going to come off. Like these came off easy if I've had these off before in the past, and I lubricated them with the marine grease, so everything came apart real easy, including the bottom nut and shaft that holds the mount for the bottom of the shock. So that makes it a lot easier. Now you could, if you want, go through the trouble of torquing them to the factory torque specs. I don't do that. I just tighten them up real good with a 1/2-inch wrench. I've never had any of them come loose. Same with the bottom nut, which is the bottom nut's 18 millimeter. These nuts are 13 millimeters. Of course, depending on your car, it's going to be different, which make and model. And I'll tighten up that bottom one and let the jack off. I'll mount the tires. Once I get the car in the ground, I'll torque all the lug nuts. Make sure you torque the lug nuts. And you probably can't see it in the video. I'm nailing on a rubber mat. Having a little rubber mat to nail on makes a really big difference. So let me tighten this bottom one up. Nice and torqued to my torque specs. There we go. Lower the jack. Get that out under there. And that's it. Front shocks are almost as easy. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Just different mounts. Different, like the bottom uses the different type of mount. The top mounts pretty much the same, except you don't have a separate bracket. That's most typical cars are. Of course, if you have McPherson struts, that's a whole different thing. But anyway, let's move the camera back around and we'll end this video. That's it for this video. The car is down. This car looks like it's sitting high in the air. Anytime you lower a car with independent suspension, it's going to sit high in the air until you move the car back and forth and the suspension settles. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, this is all ready to go on the road again. And even though it's winter, I will be out driving it. I don't know if I'm going to take it out today or not. Hopefully I will. If not, tomorrow or Monday. But anyway, that's it for this video. Hope it was helpful and informative and all that good stuff. And everybody have a great day and God bless.